Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I, too, want to add my thanks for holding this hearing. I do think it is critical that we begin to address our business relationships, trade relationships with other countries across this world. It's critical. We're in a global economy. We need to recognize that, and we need to be doing business with countries around the world. It means jobs here. I'm from Washington State, and so we have 1 out of every 3 jobs in Washington State is directly related to trade. Korea, of course, is one of our major trade partners. They're our 4th largest trade partner for Washington State. So, you know, as I listen to this discussion, it's really it's very interesting to hear the issues made about national security, the economic development, the cultural exchanges, the educational opportunities, the increase in quality of life, the availability of health care, for instance, in some of these countries that may be even lacking far behind most nations in the world. All of that is, I think, achievable through trade relations, through creating those partnerships. But it seems like, and we talk about jobs, and the figure of 6,000 jobs was mentioned by a couple of the members of the panel. I know that the Chamber of Commerce has mentioned that, you know, as we look at Korea, the trade agreement there, we're losing 380,000 jobs as Canada and the EU begin their discussions and make their agreements with their trade, with their trade agreements that they're looking at with Korea, and here we sit. So 6,000 jobs, 380,000 jobs. We have an agreement with Korea and Colombia and Panama. I do agree that we can be multitasking, and we should move ahead and looking at Cuba and our relationship with them and opening that relationship up. But what about Korea, Panama, and Colombia? And what I find very interesting, too, is the mention of the AFL-CIO. And here's where I want to go with this. The President, first of all, he says, I want to double our exports. But he doesn't give a time frame for that. The last time we doubled our exports was between 1995 and 2007, and we passed 9 trade agreements. And that's where we really need to begin to look with Cuba and these other countries. My question is, really, we need your help, because the AFL-CIO being on board with opening up relations with Cuba surprises me pleasantly. How do we get the unions, because they're so afraid of the rumor or the perception, I should say, that jobs are lost when trade increases. And I think that is, when you talk about excuses, sometimes unions use the excuses of human atrocities occurring in Colombia. There's not safety for the union members, and we all know the improvements that Colombia has made. So how can we convince members of the unions across this nation that these trade agreements are indeed critical to job creation in the United States and critical to the success of the global economy, and that America lead the way? And Mr. Brilliant, please go first.
Well, first of all, in terms of economic impact, getting the 3 free trade agreements done and approved